Okay, perfect, perfect. There we go. Been a hot minute since I set one of these up. Okay. Howdy. We are recording, and we are here. First casting workshop of the new year. Ken Carmen, Kendo Slice, and you already knew that. Of course, that's mainly for the recording purpose. But today we got a few topics that I wanted to go over to the beginning of the year, of course. So a lot of the time, first thing you think of at the beginning of the year, you think of your New Year's resolution. So why not do a commentary workshop on resolutions, on goals, on trying to scope yourself towards the future? I think it's one of the most important things that every single commentator or every other person who will ever work in esports or really any job where they are independently pushing themselves in a certain direction. It's such an important aspect of the things we do. Hey, there we are. Let there be light. So covering that topic, especially since it's something that I'm impassioned about, it felt was a good first step coming into a brand new year. I do notice I have Tenric in the commentary workshop channel with me. I'm not sure if they are here or not. Speak up if you please, and regardless, we'll continue forward. Anyway, this is, of course, being streamed at the same time on my Twitch channel, so I apologize to anybody. As you can see, CCA Casting Workshop notifications off. Much love to everybody who is checking out. And yeah, I just got a little notice from Tenric, but Tenric, somebody who I'm excited to see continue to grow, had a really good 2022. Has been commentating all over the place, multiple titles, and growing. That's one of the things that I love to see. Regardless of what title we're talking about, it is growth, especially in that middling collegiate realm of esports where we are trying to push even harder than ever before. It's so awesome to see people growing themselves right here. And that's what the commentary workshop is all about, though. We are trying to cultivate growth. So introductions over. Let me double check my times here. Okay. So I'm going through and I'm working on trying to create a brand new system of time stamping everything. So there may be delayed thoughts. There may be thoughts that I take a second, write down my thoughts on my thoughts. That sounds really weird, but you know what? Bear with me. A new year means there's going to be a lot of changes, and I'm hoping that they can all be changes for the good. Again, goals, really, really important thing in the aspect of professionals. You want to make sure that you have your goals, and to kind of reiterate what we went through, you think of the new year, and probably the most frequent thought every time somebody has a new year, they're gonna start that diet that they've been putting off for, well, since last New Year when they said they were gonna do it then. You can almost hear the personal identification and pain in my voice when I think about some of the things that I've put off when it comes to the realm of dieting. But that's aside the point. Goals are an important aspect of our humanity, not just our professions. And my encouragement to anyone who is taking on the opportunity to grow themselves in commentary would be to have as many goals as they possibly can. Granted, that is within the scope of, well, are these goals achievable? Are these goals reasonable? It's always fun to have high aspirations for yourself, But everything comes down to, do you have a purpose behind the goal? And when you meet that goal, what is the next step? So those are some of the little things that we are going to be talking about today for this very start portion of the commentary workshop. Hopefully I won't have to repeat myself too many times as people come in and out, but that is one of the fun things about the direction of the commentary workshop. People come in, people hang out. Sometimes they are here, sometimes they're not. Sometimes it's just a divine recording that I'm able to go back and show people, hey, that we touched on this at one point. You should check this VOD out. Other times it's a discussion with 3 or 4 people, and it's magnificent to hear everyone's perspective. The more perspectives that we can have, the better the commentary workshop is going to be. So if you're at all watching this, interested in commentary, hey, check it out. This month, January, is going to be all on Tuesdays, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Hopefully, we will be able to see you at the next one. Or maybe in this one. Who knows? Talking ahead of time. Much love to Tenrec. Looks like they are dropping already. But, hey, you know what? We're cold calling it today. Anyway, commentary workshop, we're talking about goals. And I want to use my own experiences just to start things off. Because my own personal experience, I tend to be a very goal-oriented human being. A lot of the time, beginning of the year, the thing that I will do is plan out my year. And you'll find, more often than not, the longer people have seen what I do and the work that I put on, a lot of my best work comes in the first half of the year. That's mainly because I'm purposing myself at the beginning of the year better than I am towards the back end. Back end, you get to that point where you're riding things by the seat of your pants, and I think we've heard enough commentary to know the moment you get to that point where you are riding by the seat of your pants, it doesn't always end up working that well. Ooh. Ah. So preparation. Preparation is one aspect of goal setting that I feel is very important. And it really, it's almost a prerequisite. They prerequisite each other, whether it be the goal setting being a part of the preparation, or the preparation going into the goal setting, because you have to prepare in order to meet your goals. And your goal setting is also I don't want to say it's a pseudo or a faux form of your preparation, but I think it goes a long way in creating a mentality towards success that is a great part of your preparation, whether it be on an individual cast, whether it be on a grandiose opportunity. It's almost as important as just straight up taking notes for names, taking notes for statistics, making the very best of the moment. So let's start off with how many. How many? Is there too many goals you can have? And to that I say, I think every person should have as many goals as they possibly can. I look to Twitter, and I kind of wish I would have had a little bit of preparation mentally for this, because going to Twitter and looking at every single person, it's that time of the year, but every single commentator, they go through their recap. These were the goals that I set for myself. Here's a new set of goals for this coming year. These are the goals that I achieved. And it's really one of my favorite things about this time of year, because you get to see how much a person has done. They get to appreciate how much they've been able to do over the last 365 days. And it shows you the reward, not necessarily the amount of work it took to get to that reward, but you can see a representation of how rewarding the work and then the goals that you put in at the beginning truly can be. And you go down the list of some of these tweets, how many things they've been able to do, and oh my goodness, is it ever amazing. I'm gonna actually see if I can pull up Bass from the past, because Bass always bringing forth a good representation of that. Let's see. Here we go. There we go. Okay. I'll pull that up. Boom! Okay. I love it. Bro set his goals, set out, created them, met so many of them. Hitting 3,000 on Twitter, casted 5 different lands, casted worlds. That counts as a major, right? Yeah. And technically, those are above what he had put on. Rather than casting just a single land, he casted 5. It's an overachiever. What the heck? Work with college color ball any capacity. Yeah, congratulations, dude. You made it. And worked hard in order to get there. Like, those are... I think you get a good balance just looking at what Bass was able to do in this past year, because the goals that he put out, hit 1,000 Twitter followers. That my goal. Let's double that. Let's cast a land. A lot of commentators, the biggest tell of whether or not a commentator has the stuff or really truly has the desire to grow themselves, watch how they react after their first land. How much do they want to commentate their first land? Like, is it in the forefront of their mind? Is it something that they are dying to do? And for Bass in this case, hey, cast a land. We just went through all that COVID stuff. Let me cast a land. I want a live in-person experience. So, and he was able to do that spectacularly. These were all realistic goals, but they were also ambitious goals. Now, what happens if you don't meet one of those goals? Well, the number one thing I will say, don't get bitter about it. Don't be afraid to set aspirational goals, but at the same time, make them realistic enough that you can look at that and be like, oh, I'm going to do that. There's no way I'm not going to let myself not do that. And if it doesn't happen, hey, it doesn't happen. Something must have gone wrong. You know, don't want to make excuse, because excuse culture is the bane of the world's existence. But at the same time, we'll get that next year, or we'll get that in the next set. GG, go next. But I look at the goals. In this example, what Bass was able to set. And it's so interesting to see how these were both ambitious as well as very realistic. Some were, a lot of them were about medium term, you know. What's the difference between a long-term and a short-term goal? There's another conversation here. We'll touch on that for a second. Because, yes, you want balance in your goal set. Short term, long term, ambitious, realistic. When you're setting goals, you want to make sure that you're able to create them in a way that is realistic enough that you can hit those goals. I'm not one to preach on mental, but there is something to be said about if someone sets 20 different goals and they don't hit a single one of them, mental's going to be down in the dumps. And in this industry especially, if your mental is down in the dumps, people start to notice. It comes out in your commentary. It comes out in your everyday life. And the moment that it starts doing that, well, things tend to go downhill. Writing down a little thing right there. So what is the difference? Long term, short term. Well, for long term, let's just say, I would say what we have here from Bass would be a perfect example of about middle to long term goals. If you're planning out a year ahead, I think that falls under long-term goals a large portion of the time. A lot of people will be like, no, long-term's 5 years from now. The important aspect of it is it attainable in short term? And then those short-term goals are what you are doing in order to reach your long-term goals. You think it starts and stops just with this? No, you have to go a complete step further. What are we doing to create, or what are we doing to reach those long-term goals? What are we doing to reach those aspiring, I'm going to do this year type of goals? And in the case of Bass, we'll go down the line again. Like, cast a land. Well, what are you doing to make sure you're able to cast the land? Well, let's list off a few ideas. Let's brainstorm. Let's write in our notebook what we can do in order to get to where we are casting a land. Hey, first, how about we talk to people who have casted lands before? Find out, how did they get there? Who did they contact? It's amazing to see how often just simply talking to someone can be an important aspect. So a short-term goal for casting a land could be, I am going to talk to 5 commentators who have commentated a land in the last year and find out how exactly they got to that point. Then a goal that might come from those conversations is, I am going to talk to this person who helps formulate land opportunities, and I am going to push for a potential spot with that person. I'm going to introduce myself. I'm going to make sure that I create a reel. There's another good one. If you don't have a reel already, casting a land doesn't seem like a very good proposition if you can't show people your work. Make sure you work on a reel. But those little small goals that lead up to your loftier goals, your midterm goals, your yearly goals, your long-term goals are oh so important. And the more that you write them out, the more that you purpose yourself in those goals, the better off and the more often you're going to be able to complete this. It's kind of a shame we don't have Bass here to talk about some of the things he was able to do this last year and how he ended up getting there. But I can tell you from my own perspective this. The fact is, what Bass was able to do 6, 7 times, I remember at the beginning of the year, he was in my DMs personally asking, hey, what do I has to do? How can I has cheeseburger? And it was something that was consistent throughout. He was course, wanted to be a part of anything involving college cardball. So I guarantee one of his goals, in order to reach that goal, was, hey, let's talk to the people from college cardball and make sure that we are at least communicating in line. And this goes hand in hand with networking. A lot of people will put themselves out there as, yeah, I'm not that good at networking. Just talk to people. If you simply talk to people, one, you're doing the footwork in order to put yourself into position to achieve your long-term goals. But two, those are the little short-term goals that you could be setting for yourself. Love it. I love it. So short-term goals, they spawn off of the long-term goals that you set. Let me see here. Want to pop something up. Another aspect of that. Wanted to pop this up really quick. This past year, I was given the opportunity to kind of shift the way that my career trajectory was going. And, oop, not that. Boom. Boom. There. Okay. Failure. Okay. So one of the things that I created for myself as I was going through, I was given the opportunity to become the talent manager specifically of College Cardball Rocket League. And it was a shift of my career that, one, I didn't expect right off the bat, but two, it came with needing to put a lot of thought into everything. Much love, Biggles. Good to see you. Happy New Year to you as well. I hope the holiday and the New Year's treated you so well. But one of the, again, was given the opportunity to work as a talent manager. And with that, it was mentally daunting, just the task in front of me, because I've seen talent managers in the past. I understand how much talent rely on talent managers. I've been talent that has relied on a talent manager before, and I didn't want to underperform. And as I go through, we'll leave out my own evaluation of myself. I've done okay, but there are so many more things that I could do better. And looking into this coming season, I mean, we can do a live go down the list of how I implemented some of my goals. Some of it's been good. Some of it has been, well, did that ever happen? No, some of it didn't. But as I was going through, I created this document about a year old now. It's created in January of last year, after I was essentially offered the position. And I think it was after I took the position. So it was an additional implementation of the goals for the new year. So we went through it. So I went out with 4 goals. And they were general, different timelines, different scopes. First off, the improvement of on-air talent presentation. Utilizing communication, comfort pairings, which can be pretty important. I've keyed on that a little bit, but at the same time, I think the comfort pairing portion, like, you can go places with a duo, but also you need to be versatile enough to be able to get out of your comfort zone. And you're never going to be able to make it all the way with that duo. But comfort pairings for advanced improvement. Work with onboarding talent individually to develop personal standards of excellence. Help each talent achieve their own personal improvement goals. So, implementation. A query drawn up for both returning and boarding talent. Gathering information of who they've best worked with, creating a better line of communication, both constructive criticism as well as encouragement. Comfort pairings, yeah, this goes on and on. So this first goal, I can tell you, I don't want to go into too much, and in fact, I don't know how much I can go into. But this goal was implemented so well that there is something new within psionics that wasn't there before. That is currently being worked on by me. So that's kind of cool. Being able to see how we were able to implement this goal, and it was done well enough to where, hey, this is pretty cool. I'm thankful that over this last year, there have been multiple people who were given the opportunity to do more than just commentate on the CCA CRLB stream. You know, they were able to push themselves forward into something even more prominent. And a lot of that goes in, a lot of that's their own personal work. So like, I'm by no means going to ever take credit for other people's work. But when you structure your goals well enough, and then you implement the little short-term, the small things around it, it gets so easy to snowball your goals forward that things become a walk in the park, whereas before they can look like a daunting uphill climb. You know, Oliver Bass on December 27th might not have been thinking, oh, 2K on Twitter, I just hit 1K. You know, that might have been a little daunting. Casting a land, never cast a land before, cast a major. that one right there was a little insane. Work with college carball. That was pretty. When Bass wrote this, he was already very well on the thought process for Summer Series, at least in my mind. So, I find a home in one more, or at least one more esports title. Stellar. Did a great job of that. But you look at all of that when all of it doesn't exist, and you may think to yourself, how in the world am I gonna do that? So, I credit to him, because it took a lot of little microtransactions, a little bit of pushing forward bit by bit in order for Bass to get there. And it was the structuring. It was the implementation of the small things first that I believe got him to where he is now. It was continuous work. It was grind. And if you quantify those into goals set and goals met, the little microtransactions, a single conversation, can be a goal or part of a goal set on the short-term side of things, then good job to him. the very last portion of this was probably one of my favorite parts of the implementation, because I feel like we were able to, every single broadcast in the spring portion of last year had a pairing that blew everybody's socks off. So that made me happy. Creating an atmosphere of growth, as well as a pipeline. Again, we've done a really good job, but implementation, I think, was another important portion of that. Setting up a private mentorship program, utilizing interested CCA talent as mentors in a one-on-one growth, utilizing VOD practice. I have not been able to get that going as much as I would like, but I'm thankful for people like Vodable who are interested in mentoring. And something like this doesn't happen very easily without people getting paid. So that's something that we are going to try to continue to push for. I would love to see the continued growth. And if it ends up being I'm the only one doing it, well, I'll be the only one doing it. Then so be it. I'm thankful for all the private mentorship that I've been able to do over this last year, because man, oh man, some of you people are insane. It's been so much fun to watch everyone grow individually. Someone who isn't here but has grown so much over the last 6 months is Zektek. College kid, getting ready to go through the next step, working on finding internships in esports. Like, it's amazing to see how much each individual has been able to grow. Creation of a line of communication between staff, commentary. Establish a commitment of camaraderie. I'm not going to get into describing each and everything. I'm thankful that there are things that have happened. I'm thankful that there are things that haven't happened, but we aspired to create something at the same time, and we were able to get partial. There are certain things that never even started. Like establishment of camaraderie within the CCA Discord. I'm still yet to figure out a way that would create a better camaraderie between commentators. Granted, there is already a camaraderie there, and it's sometimes it's pulling teeth in order to try to get everyone to be even closer. So there are some things that I was not able to do anything on. So what happens at that point? Like, say, for instance, you set a goal. Okay. Let me get a little water, hydrate. Say, for instance, you miss a goal. What do you do at that point? Well, if it's a long-term one, I mean, I imagine you go back to the well. You try to do it again. You don't allow yourself to be defeated by any stretch of the imagination. But you have to take each lump that you get and learn from it. It's probably the most important part of the things that we do. Making sure that we are able to learn from our mistakes, learn from the negatives, learn from the little things that did or didn't happen. So should you should you go back to the well on each and every goal? Not exactly. I definitely want to change things up. If there's a different angle that you feel like you could use in approaching getting over a goal, then do that. But keeping a forward mentality and mindset on each goal would be the most important aspect of what we're trying to capture here. Making sure that you're able to meet and make new standards and progress your standards as you get next echelon to next echelon to next echelon. It is one of the most important aspects of the growth that we have as both, well, whether it be commentators or human beings for that matter. You know, it goes far beyond just basic commentary in that thought. But never be afraid to set a goal that may or may not be something that you're able to make. You know, don't be so realistic that you lack vision and lack aspiration. Don't be so aspiring, ambitious that you lack realism. Everything that you do needs to have a balance, and finding that balance, I mean, it is probably one of the most important aspects of being a I don't want to sound I don't want to make a dynamic statement there, but I feel like when you find that balance between, well, how much ambition can I have versus realism, how much of the short term can I have versus the long term, how much can I handle, what is the scope, how broad can we go? Being able to find that, it also helps you find yourself. It's a lot like finding yourself. And the more you know about yourself, the better you're going to be able to represent yourself, especially in an industry where we talk behind a microphone continuously. Oh, love to see it. Let's see. Okay, I need to get back on my my thought here. Another aspect, never actually shared this before, but mission statements. Mission statements can sometimes go hand in hand with the things that we do. So, mission statements, part of the whole talent manager process, and this was something show you another thing. I made myself a mission statement when I was originally offered the position. This was before I even accepted it. And it was this is what I'm going to do. Hold me to it. I think what I'm trying to say, and this is more a conclusive thought than anything else, when it comes to goal setting, and this is where my aspirations, I think, will fully forge themselves forward for everybody who's watching this, most likely on the VOD, because we're currently, we got nobody. Sad. It's okay. It's all right. It's all right. Anyway. Everything that we do, especially in goal setting, needs to have a purpose. It kind of goes hand in hand with my thought on commentary. The words that you select, what you put out from your microphone, everything needs to have purpose. The more purpose you have in the words that you say, the better off you are going to be. The more purpose you put into your long-term goals, your short-term goals, your aspirations, your realism, your mission statements, your mentality on how you want to approach each and everything that you do, the better off you end up being. And in the case of commentary, the more purpose that you have behind the words that you're saying, the more potent you are going to sound. The more confident you're going to sound even. And we already know confidence and potency is one of the most important aspects of commentary. You want to make sure that what you're saying, one, is relevant, but two, it's also going to carry a weight and a demeanor that demands the attention. Then also at the same time, it's going to be content. Then also at the same time, I could go on and on with that. Then also at the same time, but the more purpose you add, the more layers you add, the better off it's going to be. So the bottom line, making goals is important. Why? Making goals is important because, sorry, writing down for a second. Making goals is important due to the fact that it is an opportunity to add purpose. It is an opportunity to add potency. It is an opportunity to create confidence. It is an opportunity to measure yourself out, but at the same time, keep yourself accountable. And I would encourage you, if you have goals, talk to them with other people. Hey, this is what I want to do. These are my aspirations. Another great way of creating community and creating contacts is talking to people about your aspirations. If people see what your vision is for the future, for yourself, you know, maybe it could be as simple, I want to be a plumber. I have great aspirations for working on and creating the newest and highest of technology piping systems within housing. You know, I'm being a little bit facetious, but at the same time, being able to talk with people about that will, one, create an opportunity for them to catch your vision, but two, the people who understand the vision, the people who end up supporting that vision, they're going to hear it. They're going to be like, whoa, this is the best thing I've heard all day, all week, all year. Goals are essential for that. And it's of the utmost importance that we, with purpose, create, set, grow ourselves through goals. Whether they be the long-term goals, we'll just put everything that Bass put there under long-term. You know, yearly goals, I think they're very close. I would call them midterm goals because you want to progress yourself year by year. Long-term goals, a lot of people would be like, oh yeah, I want to be on an RLCS stream, or I want to be the greatest I want to win an award, be at the esports award, something, you know, lofty, grandiose, such as that. But those goals go hand in hand with the ones that are short-term. How do we reach this goal? And then the ones that branch off of that. What do I do now that I've opened up a door, opened up an avenue that I didn't see before? The more goals you make, the better off you are going to be. Both in the commentary world, as well as life. And that is something that I truly believe in. I think about what this commentary workshop means and what opportunities we are able to have mean. I think about the purpose that I come in with, whether it be when I take the opportunity to, you know, when I take the opportunities to, say, for instance, go to live events and work there, whether it be cracking the mic or cracking a joke, The more often that I have purpose, the more often that I have preparation, the better off it is. Truly. Well, I'm kind of sad that nobody's here because one of my favorite things about the commentary workshop is the fact that it is an opportunity for us to bounce each other's perspectives off of each other. And we're able, the thought process behind a lot of these commentary workshops is we are able to grow each other so much better by working together, by showing each other perspectives that we didn't have before, creating conversation that we truly, we wouldn't have these opportunities without the perspective. What do I mean by that? It's so much faster to hear another person's perspective and then adapt to that, to create goals off of that. It really kind of goes hand in hand with the discussion. The little micro goals that come off of your action items, your short-term goals. It's like, oh yeah, well, I'm going to talk to 5 people who have done lands in order to get into a land. Okay, this person gave me this name. I'm going to go talk to that person. That person gave me a date. And another person, and I don't have a reel. I need to make sure that I have a reel. Next time I talk to this person or talk to a person like this person, because it's going to be a whole lot smoother conversation if I'm not trying to delay myself. Oh, I don't have a reel yet, but I can get it to you in 24 hours. It goes hand in hand. Because the perspectives are so huge. We're able to grow each other. We're able to really grow friendships. We're able to grow contacts. I think about how many people have been able to connect themselves with each other over the last year of doing this. Really, it's been more like 9 months, but a year of doing this in the commentary workshop. Man. It's been so impressive to grow. And even as the person who's been leading and conducting, I found myself growing in the process just from everybody else's perspective. Truly insane to think about. Well, most likely what I'm going to do here is I am going to wrap things up. And I will be in the Discord call. But I think for the sake of time, we have about 48 minutes of pretty potent solo conversation where I've stumbled and danced around the fire of my point of why goals are important. I think we'll put tie a little bow and a ribbon around the aspects of this conversation that we are getting right here on the stream. And I encourage everybody, if you're at all interested in what is going on here, if you're at all interested in being a part of one of these commentary workshops, DM me. Get in on the Discord. Follow me on Twitter. Throw me a Twitter DM. We can hang out that way, and then I can get you set up going forward. We're looking forward to the next time we're able to be here. Oh, I just realized I got follow botted. Well, that's going to add another thing for me to do. Really funny I would get follow botted when that's one of the most... that Thankfully, notifications are off. So nobody knew. We'll file that under go figure, though. Look up, hey, I got over 1,000 followers. Let's go! No. I wish everybody love. If you're watching this on the recording, then we missed you. And we're looking forward to the next one. We will see you on the flip side. Thank you for joining us for the CCA Commentary Workshop. Today's topic, goals. Make sure you're setting them.